10 best-paid hedge fund managers made $7.7 billion in 2018. Let me pick the top three.
Sure.
So the first, you got James Simons of Renaissance Technologies, the quant fund, Ray Dalio, Bridgewater, Macro, Ken Griffin, Citadel, Multi-Strategy. What I find interesting, they're all three different strategies, and yet they were still able to make bank.
The other thing that I find remarkable is their track record over time. I mean, Jim Simons, for example, I mean, they've returned extraordinary returns year after year after year. I mean, this is not like an up and down sort of thing we see with some hedge funds. These guys, Ray Dalio, Bridgewater, they just keep knocking it out of the park.
And it made to the point, too, we talk about fees. It's like investors are more than willing to pay the fees if you wind up delivering it. And the news has been so negative for hedge funds that for those who actually want to keep investing, it's a good thing.
Yeah, and the other thing that seems to be in the Bloomberg story here, you know, the haves have more and the have-nots have less. That, in fact, there's a relatively small number of hedge funds that are just doing superbly. And you're willing to pay 2 and 20 or even one instance 3 and 30, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But the other people are getting shut down.
So let's just do some of the, just for fun, like some of the numbers here. So Jim Simons' fortune increased $1.6 billion.
Yep.
And Ray Dalio, $1.3 billion. Ray Dalio is now worth over $16 billion, and so is Simons, over $16 billion net
Now,
worth.
I always find Jim Simons particularly interesting. As you know, he's a high-level mathematician. That really is what he is. He taught mathematics. But he has a huge foundation he's put together. He's putting his money into a very large foundation, which is basically taking that same mathematical approach and applying it to medicine and to science. He's got a big outfit down by the Flatiron District, and he's really trying to apply what it really worked for him in investment over into the medical area to really do things like cure cancer.
Well, yeah, interesting.
So he's putting all that money to good use.
Well, this is also why, you know, like I mentioned, the three top strategies, they're all different. Because it's easy to come in and say, macro is bad.
No, that's right.
Macro is terrible. 2018 was a terrible year for macro because all these headlines. It wasn't.
Yeah.
For Ray Dalio, it wasn't. It was a great year for macro.
It makes you wonder whether it's the person.
Exactly. So it's not actually the strategy or how you're doing it, but then you have to pay up for the names, which is why you can then charge the fee for 2 and 20. So
story.
those are some nice big numbers for you. $7.7 billion for hedge fund managers.
That's pretty good. I can't quite imagine that number.